right, the time is 7:01. I'm going to call to order the regular meeting of the Lansing City Council for December 8th, 2025. Mr. Clerk, could you please do the roll?
Councilmember Brown.
Present.
Councilmember Carter.
Here.
Councilmember Garza.
Here.
Councilmember Hussein.
Here.
Councilmember Jackson.
Present.
Councilmember Cost.
Here.
Councilmember Pelivanoglu.
Present.
Councilmember Spatafor.
Thank you, President.
There are 8 members present, a quorum. We are to the meditation and Pledge of Allegiance.
Is there anyone that we want to remember during our meditation tonight? Mayor Shore.
I believe Judge Simmons' mother passed away recently, so we should keep her in mind. Also, for those who remember, former First Presbyterian Pastor Stan Jenkins, his father recently passed away. So if we can keep both of those families in mind, Mr. President.
Thank you. Can we please rise? Thank you.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You have the proceedings of November 17th for approval.
Vice President Carter.
I will make a motion to approve the November 17th minutes as presented.
Proper motion in place. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Passes.
Okay, and we are to special ceremonies and presentations. Our first is the appointment of Selena Mate to the Historic District Commission.
Councilmember Garza.
Thank you, Council President. Selena, please come down here if you're able to. So tonight we have an appointment in front of us for Lansing's Historic District Commission. Selena Monte is being considered for an at-large seat with a term that would expire June 30, 2027. She appeared before the Development and Planning Committee meeting on November 26th, where she shared that she has the time, is willing to serve, and is committed to bringing information back to council and at our constituent contact meetings. Ms. Monte lives in the 4th Ward, owns Peculiar Coffee Company, and holds a bachelor's degree in history from Huntington University. She brings a background that fits the work of this commission and has expressed an interest in helping preserve Lansing's historic neighborhoods. With that, I would move the resolution.
Proper motion in place. Seeing no further discussion, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Passes unanimously. Congratulations.
Thank you.
So if you can raise your right hand and repeat after me, I do solemnly swear
I do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Michigan,
and the Constitution of the State of Michigan,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties
and I will faithfully discharge the duties
of the office of Historic District Commission Member
of the Office of Historic District Commission Member
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
All right, congratulations.
Thank you.
If you just step right over to that table and sign that.
Thank you. Wonderful. Thank you.
And we are to item 3, Obsolete Property Rehabilitation Act, Wormwood LLC.
Okay. Councilmember Garza.
Thank you, Council President. All those here to speak on that, please come down to the well. So what we have before us is tonight's public hearing is about creating an obsolete property rehabilitation district for the 2 vacant buildings at 323 to 327 South Washington Square. These buildings were constructed in 1888 and are more than 130 years old. They've been inspected and found to be functionally obsolete, outdated systems, accessibility limitations, and general deterioration. Property owners, Wormwood LLC is working with the Lansing Economic Development Corporation on a plan to rehab the first floor commercial space and add residential units upstairs. With that, I will leave the floor to you guys. Please explain what you guys are here for this evening, and we'll open up for questions afterwards.
All right. Good evening, Council. Can you hear me all right? All right. Good evening. Thank you. So I'm joined here. My name's Chris Klein. I'm with the Lansing Economic Development Corporation. I'm joined by Val McGee of the development team. So we're just going to provide a quick overview of the process. This is very similar to the other OPRA districts that were before you just a few weeks ago. And again, just seeking the district. So talking through that process, giving some background on the development team and the business, and as well as the proposed project. So with that, again, this is just the OPRA district. There are 2 components to seeking no per tax abatement. So that's an obsolete property rehabilitation act. And this is property tax abatement essentially freezes the taxes for rehabilitated commercial properties. And then in order to qualify for such an exemption, the property needs to be determined to be functionally obsolete, which it has been, I believe, back in April by the city assessor for various reasons. We'll get into those a little bit later on in the presentation. So if the developer decides to go forward with an application for an abatement, that would be a separate, similar but separate process in the future. And then ultimately, if approved by the council, that would then go to the State Tax Commission for final approval. And so with that, I'll hand it over to Val and can provide some background.
Hi, everybody. My name is Val. I recognize a few faces, I believe, but I'm just going to give a little recap of who I am and kind of what we're planning on doing here. So super proud to say that we're very small, emerging local developers. I just live outside of Old Town. We're not big investors. We don't have any outside corporations kind of helping us out. We're just very normal people who worked really hard to build something positive, and now we're lucky enough to be able to kind of reinvest everything back into the community. Our original business is Devil's Day Tattoo. If any of you guys go to Strange Matter, I'm sure you've passed our window a few times. From the start, we've kind of challenged those old stereotypes about tattoo studios, and we're really focusing on harboring a space that's been safe and inclusive and really genuinely enjoyable for people to spend time in. With that, the last few years, we've built a strong reputation for high-quality artistry, professionalism, and community involvement, which is kind of how I ended up in front of you here. Because of the expansion will allow us to grow substantially as a business, but also create a community hub for other like-minded individuals, artists, and other small-town business owners. Our goals with this project is to revitalize part of the historic downtown. Our commitment is to not only preserve the integrity of the historic buildings, but just breathe a little bit of new life into them, ensuring they can continue to serve our community. We will be expanding our tattoo shop. Right now, we have 7 artists underneath the other owner and I. We'll be able to double those booths, so we'll be able to definitely create more jobs. We'll be providing a rentable floor front space to another like-minded business. We've been meeting with a few in the past few weeks, and we've got a really solid lineup for that. We'll be able to provide affordable housing overlooking downtown. We have 2 spaces on the top that have like large overlooking windows that have a really, really cool view of the Knapp's building, and you can catch the top of the Capitol. And really just like continue to generally harbor a safe space. So like with this exemption, it's a short-term tool with long-term gains for downtown Lansing. It would pretty much allow us to restore our building instead of leaving it underused or vacant partially. Once our renovations are able to be complete, the operations of the building will be in a comfortable position to contribute the entirety of the taxes when that time does come. Establishing this OPRA would make it possible for emerging developers like myself to take on projects responsibly, safely, where we can prevent financial overextension while renovating. This would help ensure that we'll have a stable long-term development plan and make it possible for us to continue contributing to the local economy and creative culture for years to come. It's not a short-term ask, it's a long-term commitment, and we really do plan to reinvest into downtown.
Okay, thank you. Do we have any questions from council? Okay, no takers. We appreciate both of you being down here tonight. We'll have the public hearing on this shortly.
Thank you.
Thank you. All
Thank
right.
you.
Okay, our next special presentation, is number 4, payment in lieu of taxes for Pine Brook Manor at 5911 South Waverly Road.
Councilmember Garza.
Thank you, Council President. And like before, anybody that's speaking on this, please come down to the well. So good evening. The next item is the payment in lieu of taxes. Pilot request for Pine Brook Manor, a 136-unit affordable townhouse apartment community located at 3618 West Miller Road on roughly 12 acres. The complex was originally built in 1971 and currently serves low-income households under federal housing programs. The new ownership group, Standard Communities, is seeking a pilot approval as part of a plan to finance repairs and upgrades of property. The renovation would address code compliance issues and long-term needs like plumbing permits, worn-out fixtures, new appliances, flooring, and parking lot repairs. Keep the housing safe and livable. The pilot would set a negotiated tax rate over a 45-year period. With that, I'll leave the floor to you guys.
Good evening. Thank you. We are requesting 32 years instead of 45.
Thank you.
We're up. Thank you all for having us. Very good to see you all. Very grateful for your time. My name is Aaron Thomas. That's Jesse Fregeman. We are from a company called Standard Communities, and counter to the very worthy, awesome presentation we just heard, we are big out-of-town developers. We work at a company called Standard Communities. I'm based in Los Angeles, Jesse's in Chicago. We acquire, build, and rehab affordable housing all over the country. So we have a number of different projects throughout Michigan, but we're particularly excited about this one, as the council member mentioned, is on the south side of town. We're here asking you for a pilot deal simply because the project doesn't pencil without it, giving Pine Brook Manor, the Section 8 property that serves exclusively low-income households, the renovation that it needs. And so what you can see here, and I'm happy to show kind of the audience, obviously, some before pictures and then some kind of sample after pictures of the business that we do. The goal here with showing this is our intentions for the property. This will be a tenant in place rehab, so tenants will not be displaced outside the property, and nobody's rent will change as a result of this rehab. The goal is to invest just over $12 million, I think. Just sort of $13 million in building systems and unit upgrades and community spaces. And so we will have a kind of a local management company with a significant presence in the state of Michigan. We have done our best to engage in good faith with kind of local partners and community organizations that know the area and its needs better than I do or than we do. No rents will change. I mentioned that. We're doing an in-place rehab, so residents by and large will be out of the units while they're getting a brand new unit during the day and then come back at night. So they won't be kind of displaced overnight. And one thing that we're excited about, in addition to giving people who deserve it brand new high quality housing in a property that desperately needs it. I think it's been 17 years since the property was last rehabbed. Is that we intend to work with local partners, particularly Pastor Terrence King of Kingdom Ministries, on actual community uplift stuff. So people who want to, for residents who want to transition into home ownership, our intention is to pay for their down payments as they are kind of ready for whatever the next step is in their housing journey. And then there's some financials here. Basically, the goal of what we're presenting is showing why we are asking for what we're asking for. And so with some questions and whatever, maybe it sounds like there's maybe an appropriate time later to kind of go through the numbers, or I can go through them now. I defer on what's best.
Go through them now.
Okay. So basically, we as a private developer get paid by what's called a developer fee. And the pilot allows us to get more debt, which is kind of how you pay the fees. And so this is just a comparison of if there's no pilot versus the kind of like 10% pilot versus the 6.6% pilot that we're asking for, which basically like allows us to get more debt and then make a positive fee, which is again how we get paid. This is meant to show that basically these are the sum total revenues that the city would receive over the 32 years of this. So if nothing changed and the property didn't sell, this is what the city would be getting kind of growing at certain levels. This is what we anticipate the city will receive. And then this is what the city would receive under the kind of like buy right 10% pilot. And this is the investment that we're making in the property, the capital investment. So basically our sell is that what we are hoping the city will be cool with is the combination of these two things: $13 million invested in the property and its residents, and also the continued growing of revenues to the city. So,
I'm going to quickly stop you just for a second. Councilmember Brown has a question.
Thank you so much, President Cost. Thank you for this here. Is this in our packet? I'm not seeing this.
it should be, right? Is that the new?
If it's in there, it's towards the back.
Yeah, it should be.
If it's not, we can share it. We can share it electronically. I do believe it's in there.
I think it should be.
This is my page 10. Oh, it's just broken up into 2 pages?
Yes.
Okay, because I'm not
Yes.
able to see that.
Yes, that's 2 graphics in ones because I didn't want to be able to flip.
Gotcha. Thank you. I was just looking at this and looking at these. I said they're a little bit different. So thank you so much.
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you. You guys can continue.
Sorry.
You can go ahead and continue, sorry.
Oh, I think that was it. We're excited and grateful for this opportunity. We think the property needs it. The people there deserve it. And we would like to prove that we are the right people to do it. So thank you very much for your time.
Thank you. All right, do we have any questions for these gentlemen? Councilmember Brown, followed by Councilmember Garza.
Thank you, Councilman Garza. I know I've had a few questions from constituents related to how, if you're doing a renovation, of course, with the pilot, and I understand all of this, but for the residents, the concern is that the rent would go up when you're putting that kind of investment in. So if you could kind of elaborate on how you're able to, really rehab and bring the property up to 2026, and then at the same time, say, hey, these rents aren't going up. If you
Sure.
could
So
elaborate.
the
Thank you.
property is 100% project-based Section 8. So everybody who lives in the property is on a federal Section 8 contract, which means that the rent that they pay is strictly based on how much money they bring in. It's 30% of their qualified income is what they pay in rent, and the federal government pays the rest of it. They cover the rest. So the game that we play, our business, is that we rehab the property, get it to modern market rate standards, and the federal government pays us commensurately with that. And so the gap of the higher rents that we will ultimately get is 100% covered by the federal government. So any individual's rents wouldn't change because they qualify and are on this kind of Section 8 plan. As part of this rehab, we sign a new contract with the federal government that keeps this property long-term affordable on these terms for another 20 years.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, Councilman Garza.
Thank you, Council President. This is just a clarification, you guys. You know what, I guess I misspoke in the beginning. I said 45-year period. Was that the original ask?
The original ask was, and what we wanted to kind of underscore was like the ask of using taxpayer dollars from the city is not something that we take lightly. And so 32 years is kind of the bare minimum for our financing. That is the pilot level that allows us to get the financing that we need for the project. We don't want to ask for any more length of time or any more money than it needs to get the project.
All right, thank you. I just appreciate the clarification.
Thank you, sir.
And then Vice President Carter.
I just had a question. You mentioned that the residents will be placed but not overnight. Can you elaborate a little bit more about that?
Yeah, so we do what's, and Jesse's probably more of an expert than I am, but we do what's called a tenant-in-place rehab at properties, where the goal is to give people a new unit over time without, changing their life or moving them to a new property. And so what usually happens is one of two things. Either, every property has some sort of vacancy, and so what we will usually do is renovate those vacant units first and use those as what we call hotel units. And so sometimes we will put people in there for the 3 weeks it takes to rehab their unit. And so they are temporarily, like we have movers that will kind of replicate their unit, like move their stuff out, replicate their unit in the hotel unit, and then move it back when their unit's ready. And then other circumstances like this one, where we will do the renovations during the day. And so the person's home base, let's say, will be these hotel units during the day, but they can sleep in their kind of bed as normal at night. So those are kind of one of two ways it goes, and the latter way is what our plan is for this property.
Do we know currently how many vacant units are on the property now?
8 as of right now.
Okay, and then quickly, I've got a couple questions since it was brought up for the city attorney. Because this is being changed from a 45-year to a 32-year, do they need to amend the application that's on file to officially reflect what the changes are, so it doesn't appear that the city made the changes?
Well, that's an interesting question. I wouldn't think so. I know it's documented. I was aware that they were going to be changing it from 45 to 32. I think they made that request affirmatively on their own, and they've stated as much here in public. So I'm comfortable with because I think the ordinance itself is not yet to the council for consideration.
So
I
with
just
that
need to
change,
amend
does it
the
need to go
ordinance.
back to the planning board first?
Nope. This is just, because the ordinance is just to establish, the ordinance is essentially the contract for the pilot agreement. So at the conclusion of this, I will go in and modify from 45 to 32, and then the start year presumably staying the same. I'll change the end year from whatever, N plus 45 to N plus 32.
Okay, so, and that won't affect us hearing,
Nope.
taking this up on committee Wednesday?
Nope.
Okay, perfect. And then I have Councilmember Pelivanoglou, followed by Councilmember Jackson.
Yeah, on page 13 of our packet, it outlines some information, basic information about stake plus home ownership, but it doesn't give many details or how that would be accomplished. So could you expand on that information for us?
Yeah, so this stuff is kind of my baby. The goal is, famously, as you all know, we're not good at getting people out of poverty in this country. This is housing that explicitly serves low-income folks. And so, and I guess it accidentally or maybe deliberately sparse. So there are two things. So Stake is a financial services firm that's basically a bank that is kind of the participant in all of the kind of leading tenant wealth mechanisms throughout the country. Their website's it's at stake.rent. Basically the idea is that everybody that will live there will get a free bank account debit card. Often it's people who are unbanked or underbanked, leveraging kind of predatory financial schemes. So just, having a bank account debit card that will then receive, cash back and rent incentives and stuff like that. But really the big thing is that the ambition is to work with Pastor King and Kingdom Ministries to do financial literacy training, stuff like that, with the goal of getting people prepared to become homeowners. And then the kind of commitment, I think, at the bottom of that page, I don't have it in front of me, but I know the explicit commitment is that folks who are ready to do that, we will just pay their down payments. The challenge, I think, as you all know, now in the kind of post-COVID era, is that readiness for a mortgage is not as much about the down payment as it used to be, right? Rates are high, and so the ongoing cost for a mortgage is challenging, and so making people mortgage ready is more challenging than it used to be. But from the down payment perspective, our ambition is for folks who may be ready to do that, we want to pay their down payment.
Councilmember Jackson.
Thank you, Mr. President. I have two questions. First one, if this was built in 1971, which it was, brand new, obviously built, and then in 2005, 34 years later, it needed a renovation.
Yeah.
And now, 20 years later, it needs a renovation. Won't it need a renovation within 30, however many years you're proposing?
So there's two answers to that. One, the answer is yes. I think the first answer is it depends on the renovation that's given. So we're going to be spending about $92,000 a unit on the renovation, which is a significant comprehensive renovation. There are people in the business who do a lot less and kind of skimp by because the programs that we're leveraging, mainly the low-income housing tax credit, is what allows for, the question that the council member had is, how do you put all that money in building and rent stay the same? Is because it's federal programs that incentivize this, right? And so one is that the comprehensive renovation is so we don't, in 7 years, we do everything now, so we don't need new boilers and building systems and all that kind of stuff, right? And two is that the program incentivizes a new rehab of the property every 15 to 17 years. And so the expectation is that, I think it got it 17 years ago. I think the timeline is about every 15 to 17 years when it's supposed to kind of get it. A lot of properties don't get it when they need it or when they should have it. So that gap that originally was 20 years and then became 17, if it's going the way it's supposed to, it's every 15 to 17 years, kind of like clockwork.
Okay. Second question is, you mentioned federal program. What happens if President Trump gets his way and there is no more Section 8 or it's greatly restricted? How does that affect the operations?
It affects our bottom line pretty significantly, but which certainly in some ways would affect the bottom line of the building. These are, once we sign this 20-year federal contract, it's a contract with the federal government. Famously, the administration doesn't totally recognize those things, right? But I think that that is what we feel is our risk mitigant of kind of the undermining of Section 8 at the federal level. I will say, kind of for more color, what we understand is that the administration's plan has been to undermine Section 8, cut it by 30%, et cetera, et cetera. The HUD budget goes through the House and Senate, and the two budgets right now sitting at the House and Senate, they have not been reconciled yet. One has Section 8 kind of held at similar levels, and the other has kind of like the normal kind of commensurate growth. And so what I take that to mean is that, the legislators in this country do not want to have, of both parties, because Section 8 is a Republican program, do not want to have the dramatic increase in homelessness that would come if you killed Section 8 on their heads. So the administration can say one thing, it goes through Congress. It has not, kind of what the administration has wanted has not been taken up by Congress. So we feel the risk of what actually the Trump administration wants to do to Section 8 is actually very, very low.
Thank you for those answers.
Thank you, sir.
And then standard communities, if I recall our conversation, is anybody from your company from Lansing?
No, sir.
Or mid-Michigan?
No, sir. The
Michigan?
closest concentration of our folks is in Chicago.
Okay, Chicago. So before you were looking at this property, had anyone from your company ever been to Lansing, Michigan?
I have a couple times. I have worked with Mayor Shore in the context of a nonprofit that I was working at before I joined Standard Community. So I've been to Lansing 2 or 3 times pre-COVID.
But no one else?
I don't know.
I went to school at the other school in Michigan that will not be named.
Yeah, this is not Ann Arbor.
I spent a lot of time in Lansing throughout my years in school.
Okay.
And your brother lives?
My brother, I have family that lives up in Lanesburg. I'm here frequently.
Okay.
But I think the implication, right, is us being not from here and not located here. I think one is kind of having management that is headquartered here, local. But 2 is the intention, of course, is from an accountability perspective. I want you all, if interested, to have our personal cell phone numbers, the cell phone number I've had since I was 12, right? We can, we have a demonstrated history of accountability. There will be stuff that inevitably happens, and we want to make sure that we're accountable to that. I don't know how satisfying that is of an answer.
Appreciate it. Do we have Councilmember Jackson?
Wait a minute, you had a cell phone since you were 12?
Yeah, it was the Nokia with Snake. You remember that? Mm-hmm. So there was less danger of all the stuff that kids get into now. It was just more like walking home from school.
All right, do we have any further comments? Okay, I want to thank you both for being here.
Thank you all very much for your time.
Thank you.
Okay, we are to comments by council members and the city clerk.
Council comments. Any takers? Councilmember Hussein.
Yep, just real quick, I wanted to remind folks that, sorry, we do not have our constituent contact meeting for the 3rd Ward in December, so that's been historical. We will be meeting for the first time in 2026, January 10th at 10 a.m. There's a one-time change in location, so that'll actually take place at the former Rio Elementary School at 1221 Rio Road. The Lansing Empowerment Network, with its CEO as Michael Lynn, is working with the city as well as the school district to try to ensure that that particular location remains a hub for the community. And so he actually invited us into that space to make part of the overall presentation about Rio, about its current programming, and about potentially what the future holds. And so we will be there. Again, that is a one-time location, January 10th, 10 a.m. at 1221 Rio Road. And then I wanted to thank SWAG. I wanted to thank volunteers, performers, participants, attendees of this past weekend's Holiday in the Square. I unfortunately had a scheduling conflict and was unable to attend, but I do understand a number of folks from around this dais attended. I was there 1 week earlier, clearing snow and placing lights with the Andersons and my wife. But I heard that it was a really good event. That event continues to grow. Again, this is at the corner of Pleasant Grove and Holmes. I think it's part of a bigger effort there to kind of breathe new life into the intersection and the surrounding community. But in any event, again, just really, really good celebration. The community continues to grow, and we certainly appreciate everybody that not only supported that, but also came out and participated. Thank you.
Thank you. And then I want to thank everybody that came to my contact meeting on Saturday. Thank the residents that showed up with their questions for this data center proposal, for the folks at Deep Green for coming, BWL. Our planning department came as well, Mr. Raleigh Van Fossen, to answer questions. It was a robust conversation. And if anyone is interested in the entirety of the conversation or has questions about many things that were answered during that, the WLNS website has the video uploaded in full of the meeting from Saturday. So you can get a lot of questions answered through that. That, I don't see any other comments from council.
And I have no comments, so we are to community event announcements. If you're in the audience and wish to announce a public or an event, a community event, we'll give you 1 minute to tell us the details.
2 events coming up. They are the Neighbors of Scott Woods this Wednesday at 6:30 p.m. at Sycamore Creek Church on Mount Hope in Pennsylvania. The last neighborhood meeting of the year for Neighbors of Scott Woods. So stay tuned for that. And next week, I think this one you have to RSVP for, but it's on December 17th, I think. There's going to be an Ingham County Democratic Party dinner, I think it is, with food provided by Slice by Saddleback. That is at 5:30, I think. So around that time, but in general, December 17th at around 5:30 or so at the Ingham County Health Building on, I think it's Cedar and Jolly, somewhere around there. So stay tuned for that as well. I don't know if I should be doing partisan events, but still.
Thank you. Other community events? All right, moving on then. We are to speaker registration for public comment on legislative matters. Legislative matters does include the scheduled public hearings as well as items that the council will be acting on. So including the hearings, it's items 5 through 27 on the printed council agenda. We'll give you about another minute to sign up with Sahand in the back. And with that, we are to the mayor's comments.
Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. President. Just a few quick things. One, in addition to Councilman Hussein, I want to congratulate the wonderful neighbors down in Southwest Lansing. The event at Pleasant Grove and Holmes was awesome. It was cold, and yet there were a lot of people there. There were some pony rides and some art. There were some great dancers. It was a lot of fun. So thank you, everyone, for coming out. At the same time, thank you for everyone that came out to Old Town on Saturday for the Krampusnacht, which was unbelievably crowded. Like, you couldn't move around. There were thousands and thousands of people there. So that was really cool. And at the same time, downtown, we had the Big Red Ball Gala on behalf of our downtown. So we had a lot going on Saturday here in the city, which was really cool. Congrats to the folks at Suits in the City for their gala, which was also a lot of fun on Friday. Holiday Night of Lights is going on at Francis Park, so all of our residents can drive around Francis Park and check out the lights. I believe it's every Friday and Saturday night through the end of the year, so that's really cool. Yard waste, we've gotten a lot of questions about yard waste. It was a bit late, delayed due to snow plowing and leaf pushing and things like that, but yard waste should be caught up by tomorrow or Wednesday. So we should be up to speed, and then it will be over for the season. Neighborhoods in bloom. I know it's hard to think about that right now, but neighborhoods in bloom, the deadline will be January 31st this year, which is different than in other years, so I wanted folks to know. And last but not least, as no one has done it yet, I would like to wish a very happy birthday to our City Council President, Ryan Cost, who I assume is 25 today. So happy birthday, Mr. President. Thank you.
Flattery will get you everywhere, Mr. Mayor. Thank you. I appreciate it.
All right, we are to public comment on legislative matters, and again, that includes items 5 through 27, and items 5 through 8 are public hearings, so you can have an overview of some of those.
Yes. So Councilman Garza, you've got the first two if you want to just do a quick overview. But we just had presentations on those.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of gave the overview, so I mean, we
Yep,
heard from
I
the.
think we're, move on then?
Yeah,
The
move
other
on.
one's okay. Then Vice President Carter for 7 and 8.
The 7 is amending Chapter 812, Section 81201 to modify public shopping district boundaries. This is approving or opposing the amendment to this chapter, and essentially it's increasing the boundaries of the principal shopping district as well as Zone B and Zone C North in the principal shopping district. 8, the amend of Chapter 1460 tenant relocation fee exception for tenant-caused damage. This is an ordinance of the City of Lansing to amend the Lansing Codified Ordinance for those two, 1460 and Section 1460.51 to amend the exemption from collection of a tenant relocation fee if the owner or party in interest demonstrates by clear and convincing evidence that the conditions that cause a rental premises being declared unsafe and uninhabitable were directly attributable to the tenant. This also goes into stating that the owner or party of interest may be exempt from collection of the tenant relocation fee under subsection C if within 10 days after a rental premises is vacated, as described in subsection A, and the owner or property of interest demonstrates to the Office of Code Compliance with the review of the Office of City Attorney by clear and convincing evidence in writing that the conditions that caused the rental premises being declared unsafe and again uninhabitable to the tenant or tenants.
Thank you, Vice President Carter.
Okay, on to public comment then. We've got Jody Washington, followed by James Lennon.
Thank you, Jody Washington, Lansing. I just want to talk for a minute about the pilot. I hope to God you all say no. If they can't do it for 10%, and they don't even have to come to you for 10% for 20 years, they cannot afford to do this project. I'm tired of extractionists coming in, particularly from out of state, taking federal dollars, Michigan dollars, and Lansing dollars to fund their large corporations. The Oprah, I'm fine with, we get our buildings rehabbed, but these folks, 32 years? Are you kidding me? Most of you up there will be dead by then, and you're putting this off on somebody else. And they'll come back with their younger version asking for another pilot. You have to say no. How many pilots do we have out there? I don't care if they want to renovate these apartments. I want my house renovated. Can I get a pilot? I mean, come on. My house is losing value because of the direct. Could you put him in order, please?
Folks, can we please keep order in the chamber?
Thank you. My house is losing value as we speak. I don't appreciate that. I can move half a mile outside of the city limits, get the same house for less money, pay 1/3 of the property tax and no income tax. Our city is not headed in a good direction. We can't continue to give money away to everybody just because they put affordable or low income in front of it. These are big corporations. They can afford to do their own job. Andy, I think you're the nicest guy ever. I don't know that we can survive 4 more years of you. Council, I'm sure a whole lot of you are really nice. This is the most inept council I have seen in decades, and I don't have a lot of hope for the next 2 years. But having said that, I hope you will start paying attention, start thinking about the trajectory of this city, start thinking about economic development. We have a lot of affordable low-income housing. We don't have jobs. We have 425 agreements that are outside of the city, but we don't have jobs for people right here. So use For God's sakes, I can't say it strongly enough. Use some critical thinking. Tamara, you're in the finance. You know what this can do to a city. Use your brain and not just your heart, and start thinking where this city is headed. More apartments downtown, I don't care if they're low income or affordable, is not moving this city forward. Thank you.
Folks, if we can please keep order in the chamber, the time for clapping has passed. I appreciate it. Thank you.
We have next James Lennon, followed by Harry Hepler.
Good evening, Council. My name is James Lennon. I'm the Executive Director for the Old Town Commercial Association and a Old Town resident. I put myself on a script to stay within 3 minutes, and so I will do my best. But as you discussed the PSD expansion, item number 7 on the agenda tonight, I wanted to share some information about the OTCA and what we do. The OTCA exists to maintain a vibrant business community in the Lansing Historic Old Town District by providing services and opportunities that foster economic growth and community engagement. Our efforts have created opportunities that draw thousands to the district with festivals and special events, like referred to earlier, our Krampusnacht event just Saturday night. We are patiently awaiting the numbers tomorrow, but we expect to see that we had over 10,000 individuals in Old Town Saturday evening. We create collective marketing and advertising. We serve as an information center for businesses, residents, and visitors. We provide neighborhood-level strategic planning, maintain our curated outdoor spaces. We foster business collaboration and networking. We facilitate the Match on Main and many other grant opportunities. We support Small Business Saturday, coordinate the beautification and cleanup efforts, and provide market data and analysis. The Old Town Commercial Association, the OTCA, has worked for nearly 30 years to help revitalize Old Town. Since its inception, alongside the principal shopping district, the PSD, Old Town has gone from a 90% vacancy rate to a less than 5% vacancy rate. We are now a destination for all of Lansing. We have made this transition with minimal resources. Currently, only a small portion of what would consider to be Old Town are paying an assessment that helps to provide things like public trash pickup, seasonal and holiday decor, business support, marketing, and promotions. We would like and hope to extend our impact outside of our small core. Areas supported with a PSD demonstrate significant growth and value for our community. For 30 years, this historical progress of Lansing's Old Town District has been the result of community members' literal blood, sweat, and tears, and we hope to further extend that work with the PSD expansion. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Next is Harry Hepler, followed by Eric Hanna.
Hello, City Council, Mayor. Thanks for having me, or letting me speak here today. I did speak with Old Town Main Street, but they did not know that this was going to come up to public, so excuse me for being ill-prepared. I found out about this about an hour ago. As I said in my initial meeting, there wasn't enough specific detail on how the funds were going to be used or budget, what services we could expect, what grants will be given to improve the community, a list of property owners that will be paying the majority of this new said revenue. It looks like there's a great deal of vacant land in the new area, which I believe is unaffected, but again, I don't have enough details. We've invested many dollars over the 25 years that we've had. Let me just give you a quick rundown. There's May Street Cottage, 132 units that are being built right now that had no plans for this additional expense. There's Prudent Tech Center, which is currently 50% vacant as office space, and has not been doing well with the heavy office vacancies. Motor Wheel Lofts, H-Inc., and Oak Park, which is a future development as well, did not have any plans for paying this. This is a particular area is about 14 acres in total. and about 5 different LLCs, and they all have different investors that I need to speak to and have an understanding of this. Appears to be moving quite fast, and I'm not really happy about being asked for my support and then not told that there was a public hearing coming up. So I'm a little disappointed in that. While we have properties in Old Town and we've been paying our PSD in Old Town, and I sat on the PSD board 30 years ago, and I remember planning East Michigan Avenue and thinking about all the wonderful things in Bike Pass, and it's actually happened. I'm actually very thrilled about East Michigan Avenue, everything that took place there, and in PSD's beginnings. I am certainly not supportive of this right now, and not in the position to be supportive until some of these questions are answered. So I just wanted to share that with you today. Thank you.
Thank you. Next is Eric Hanna, followed by Jason Kilday.
Thank you. Good evening. My name is Eric Hanna. I'm the president of Michigan Community Capital. We're a statewide community development corporation headquartered in Old Town. We redeveloped the Temple building on the corner of Chavez and Cedar. We also own a combined city block worth of land in the Old Town district that is in the process of pre-development for additional investment. I'm here to speak in support of the proposed PSD expansion. While it will require some resources from the existing property owners, the benefits of doing this work are undeniable. The OTCA, the Main Street America model, and the community organizing and the Main Street redevelopment process objectively work. This weekend, we had a clear example of how they work with our Krampus event. Over the 29 years that the OTCA has been working together with the city, again, vacancy has gone from 90% to 5%. Property values are up substantially. Rental rates are up substantially, and there's over 250,000 visitors each year to the district. This did not happen overnight. It did not happen without resources, and it did not happen without organizing. And it's incredibly important that we keep those processes moving forward. The decision to request the expansion did not happen quickly. We have studied this at the OTCA for over a year. In partnership with DLI, we worked on a memorandum of understanding that outlines roles and responsibilities for each organization. We reviewed the recently implemented form-based code to determine where the city is looking to promote more vibrant shopping areas within the proposed district. We looked at areas that were served by the OTCA but not currently being assessed, and we looked at areas adjacent to the existing area that is being assessed as areas of opportunity and where the investment might flow. There is a pretty significant mismatch between the way property is being used today and the way the city's new form-based code views the property. That code is a projection of how the city wants that property to be developed in the future, and the OTCA is really on board with making that happen. There is a breakdown that I prepared. Roughly 33% of the existing, or of the new zone would be covered, is zoned warehouse or commercial, 20% is zoned surface parking, 18% is multifamily, and 7% is vacant land. Only 5% of the proposed Zone B is actually retail that would be paying an enhanced assessment. And that does not foot with the form-based code that the city's implemented. The areas that we're talking about have a much higher level of new zoning for commercial retail. In short, I just want to say that it's taken us a long time and a lot of work to come to the conclusions that we have. This has not been something that's happened quickly. Thank you.
Thank you. Next is Jason Kilday, followed by Terry Terry.
Good evening, Council and Mr. Mayor, and thank you for the opportunity to get up here and speak tonight. Similar to Mr. Hepler, my name is Jason Kilday, Vice President of Development with Gillespie Group. We own Prudent Place Apartments on May Street. We also have the former Unicorn Bar in downtown, in Old Town. Here to really talk about the impacts of this expanded district for the PSD. I think it's very simple to say that we're not sure, because of a lack of information so far and a lack of opportunity to collectively sit down with the OTCA and others to talk about what is the benefit going to be provided to those properties that are now being included. For instance, Prudent Place. I don't think anybody can stand up here and say that that is a great connectivity to the Old Town Commercial Association. In fact, you have to cross major traffic across Larch to even get anywhere close, and that's not easy. Between Prudent Place and Motor Wheel, we have taken care of our properties for the better part of 20, 25 years now. Harry has taken the initiative to plant flowers along the state of Michigan MDOT right-of-way, the large hill that goes up to the two properties. We are all for the OTCA and making sure it's properly funded, but there needs to be more discussion on this. Lack of public notice. I understand that it only had to go in the paper, but there was no public notice about the hearing tonight. We literally got it at 3:30 today via email. These things need to be discussed so we can understand the potential impacts to the property owners that have not experienced this before. For us personally, we're looking at anywhere from a $6,000 to $8,000 increase. We can't raise rents to that tune. We can't change that. So that's right out of the bottom line on properties that are already running pretty tight because we are in a competitive market for apartment leasing right now. So we're not here to say absolutely no, we won't participate. What we are here to say is please table this for further discussion. Let's have a discussion after the holidays and let you, OTCA, and others know how we're looking at it. And then maybe we are missing some of the facts through this. Maybe we don't have all the information, and maybe there can be a good discussion about how this can be implemented in a manner that allows the properties to remain successful. I'll tell you what, folks, we saw this with the PSD along Michigan Avenue when they increased their assessments on parking lots and things like this. That is directly impacting commercial and residential rental rates. We are becoming disadvantaged when we compare ourselves to even cities like East Lansing, Meridian Township, and Delta Township, because the taxes and assessments are all factored into a part of rent, and when that is 10, 15, 20% higher than your competing neighborhoods, that's a problem, and we're going to start losing commercial tenants and residents to that. So, again, our respectful request is to please table this. Do not move it to a vote for the next public council meeting, and let us get together and collaborate and figure out how to move this forward. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Next is Terry, followed by Joe Neller.
Hi, Terry. I own 5 properties in Old Town, run a couple businesses, Message Makers, and Urban Beat, and I serve on the board of the Michigan Institute for Contemporary Art, a 501c3 nonprofit, formerly the Old Town Business and Art Development Association. Micah, as I bet, played a formative role in the establishment of the principal shopping district. I served on that committee and helped make that happen. And it was agreed at that time that funds would be used to put back into the area, into Old Town area. Now, Micah serves as a catalyst for community transformation and really led the revitalization effort in Old Town. We started in 1984. We've produced for over 30 years Jazz Fest Michigan and Michigan Blues Fest, 2 festivals that really put Old Town on the map and Lansing on the map. We've featured thousands of visual and performing artists, helped bring in over 50 new businesses into Old Town, led the charge in the establishment of Old Town as one of the first urban Main Street sites in the country, helped found the OTCA, renovated and operate a residential retail 3-building unit in Old Town, and we operate a community arts center gallery. So we support the expansion of the PSD if funds collected are put back into Old Town, and, this is important, if Micah also is a significant recipient of those funds to continue our mission to support the area. We don't wave our flag a whole lot, but this is a time that's important. If we're going to, increase this, we'd like to participate fully in the process. So thanks so much.
Thank you. Next, we have Joe Neller, followed by Marcelo Olivares.
Hi, good evening. Joe Neller speaking in favor of number 7 and number 8. Number 7, speaking on behalf of Simtop Management. They do operate 2 flats living properties near the expanded boundary for the PSD. It would result in a property tax increase, but by the company's calculations, it would be modest, and want to support continued growth of the city of Lansing and Old Town in particular. On number 8, speaking on behalf of the Rental Property Owners Association of Mid-Michigan, It's an association of more than 100 members of rental property owners representing about 5,000 residential units, rental units in the mid-Michigan area, most of which are predominantly in the city of Lansing. Really appreciate the work by this council, President Cost, Chair Pelvanoglu, and Councilmember Hussein on this follow-up item from the tenant relocation ordinance. We had a number of discussions as the ordinance was initially introduced and debated and passed. We support the ordinance, and we fully support this amendment to hold neglectful landlords accountable and making a fair system to not penalize responsible landlords for things that are out of their control. So appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. Next is Marcelo Oliveras, followed by Rich Floyd.
Good evening. Wasn't really planning on speaking tonight, but I'm going to take this opportunity and make the most of it. My name is Marcelo Olivares. Proud disabled minority business owner. I've had a number of, I like to say, careers, I guess, or life choices in my life. I was a college basketball coach at Central Michigan University for a number of years. Yes, a 5'3", one-handed person can coach college basketball. I ran the largest Meijer grocery distribution center as a director of that unit during COVID. So I was responsible for getting everyone their toilet paper and paper towel. Maybe not as much as you wanted, but we tried our best. And I got into being a landlord because I wanted to create something of our own for our family. It's been a very rewarding career choice through the different things that I've done in my life. I appreciate the board taking up potentially the success. Properties, one being a multifamily property that displaced 3 individuals. We do a good job. We work with code compliance. We keep up with our properties. We make sure we're correcting all of our inspection requirements. And it would personally, go ahead and put a number of the landlords that don't own hundreds of housing potentially out of business, having to go ahead and pay for the costs of a tenant cause relocation. And I'm speaking that from myself. I know, obviously, with the number of mortgages and then having to add those expenses along with the taxes, that can put and make some of us, having to go ahead and not get into this business. So I appreciate your time, appreciate you listening to me, and hopefully that you do take up this exception. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. Next is Rich Floyd, followed by Brady Diller.
Hello. Thank you for having me. Pleasure here to speak. I just want to mention, President Cost, you changed my mind on rental property in Lansing. When this ordinance came around, I sold a 55-unit property that I had spent the last 7 years pouring my heart and soul into. Rehabbed it. It was 12% occupied when I got it, 100% occupied when I sold. I did sell off to some out-of-state investors and watched rents go from, a modest $850, $900 a month to $1,200, $1,400 a month, which kind of hurts our affordability. But I was scared. I saw the ordinance, and it made me think that, Lansing is not a place to be a landlord anymore. Well, since then, last week I bought another 18-unit, plan to rehab it. It's 20% occupied. Can't wait to see 100% occupied. I saw a gentleman with a shirt on that said, rent is too damn high. I totally agree. You're probably not going to hear a lot of landlords say that, but there's a lot of contributing factors right now. And this ordinance was one thing that I thought was going to greatly increase the cost of being a landlord here. And you guys have done the right things, and I hope that, when it is a tenant's fault, we recognize that. And when it is the landlord's fault, let's hold them accountable. And I know, Lansing has a 100% success rate in holding those landlords accountable and has collected 100% of the money when you have had to relocate tenants. So I hope you keep that in mind, and we fully support you when you have to go after bad landlords. So appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. Next is Brady Diller, followed by Ivan Drosty.
Yeah, I'm here on agenda item 19. Is that correct? Or we're just going through all the comments? Okay. So I'm Brady Diller. I'm with Dinsmore and Scholl. We're outside counsel for Freedom Mortgage Corporation. Public Safety Committee members I've been meeting with constantly over the last month or so. I know you guys are voting on this tonight. Based on the committee hearing, I can imagine how it's going to go. But I would just request if we can constantly stay in communication and possibly if the foreclosure process moves forward a little bit faster than we're anticipating at this moment, possibly an extension of that 60-day order. Like I said before, we're still working through the foreclosure process. Can't give a concrete timeline at this point. But also another point I wanted to bring up is the redemption period. If we can get some assistance with declaring the property abandoned, that would shorten the redemption period from 6 months to 30 days. So I know Riley Van Fousen's been really helpful working with us. So just kind of keep a line of communication so we can hopefully move this foreclosure process forward.
Thank you. Next, we have Ivan Drosty, followed by Nicholas Zandy.
Hey, Ivan Drosty, Ward 3. I want to talk first about items 5 and 6. These are the tax abatements. I really think we need to change our strategy as a city on these tax abatements for real estate developers. We can't keep giving tax breaks to every developer who wants to rehab a property. This takes vital tax revenue away from the city, and we do it to allow relatively wealthy people to exploit the property for their own profit. This has the effect of transferring wealth from the relatively poor to the relatively wealthy. It's a bad practice. I really have nothing bad to say about the individuals involved in these two particular projects. They seem like nice enough people. I suspect that they'll probably do a good job. And the Oprah project in particular seems at least reasonable on item 5. The pilot on item 6 does not seem reasonable. 32 years, folks. Come on, let's be reasonable. And what we should do instead is take our tax dollars, and if we identify a corridor or a property that we would like to see renovated, we should use those tax dollars to renovate the surrounding environment, the roadways, the walkways, public transit access. And what this will do is it will induce development naturally, and then we'll get people in who are willing to pay the full taxes. And we'll have nicer roads and public transit to boot, so it's a win for everybody. Now, that's a longer-term solution, not a short-term solution, but it will be better for the city in the long run. So I hope you vote against item 6 at the very least. Moving on to item 8, the tenant relocation fee. Folks, the power dynamic between landlords and tenants in this city is skewed so far in favor of the landlords. This tenant relocation fee was finally a way to inch that back just a little bit towards the tenants, just a little tiny bit. And I really think that this exception would undercut that. I'm just going to be blunt. Landlords lie, okay? If you give them the opportunity to get out of this, they're going to try. Every single time that a landlord is going to be on the hook for this tenant relocation fee, you're going to see an application for an exception come through, and it's going to gum the whole process up, and they have all of the power and all the money and all the resources, so they're going to win more often than not, even if they really shouldn't. And I think the fact that we've got landlords here tonight lining up to try to urge you to pass this should give you pause. So I urge you to vote against item 8 as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Next is Nicholas Zandy.
Hello, I am Nicholas Zandy, president of the Old Everett Neighborhood Association and resident of the 2nd Ward and the South Side of Lansing in general. I'm going to be speaking on items number 13, 15, 16, 17. Sort of speaking about how landlords have been neglecting their property over the years, sometimes purposefully, and you as a city have almost done nothing to stop that. Quite honestly, I am appalled that this has really extended, and you already know what my opinions are on problematic landlords and how they deserve punishment, and that landlords tend to lie quite a lot. Like, you've known what I've said. It's out there in the public. So but I think it still needs to be stressed enough so that you guys know, hey, these landlords need to be punished in some way. Because they have a lot of money to fix these properties and prevent them from being placed in the make safe and demolish category, and they somehow just choose not to from time to time. That needs to be called out. But also the fact that, again, we should expand our categories with the amount of tags that we should be giving to them. Like, red tags should be for, like, very extreme purposes, and pink tags should be almost at that level, like, where it's currently unlivable but could be fixed, where red is just completely unfixable and just should not be fixed at all and should just be straight up in the demolish category. But there should be yellow and green tags for, like, green tags for those that only have very minor damage, and yellow tags for homes that have quite a bit of damage but are still repairable and are not too major compared to pink or red. And also, seeing from what I've heard about this whole pilot program, I'm going to be honest, I don't really want to consider supporting it. Like, I want low-income households to exist, but they need to be done not just at an affordable price, but also from people who actually know what they're doing. And I guess that also ties into the Mod Pods thing, but I don't know if I can discuss it right now since I don't think it's on the agenda. I could discuss it later, but still, bad landlords really need to be punished, and considering this red tag situation, it needs not only to be reformed, it also needs to be better enforced, because seeing all these tags on these houses shows that you haven't done a thing about some of these until now, shows that you've kind of been, I'm just going to be honest, you've been kind of sitting on your butts on that, and you really got to go forward and actually do your job. That's all I'm going to say, and I'll yield the rest of my time.
Thank you. We also have some written communications, one in support and one opposed to the Pinebrook Manor pilot, and 8 communications in favor of the tenant relocation fee ordinance amendment. That'll be made part of the public hearing records, and with that, we are to the referral of the public hearings. Item 5, the Oprah District.
Development and planning.
Item 6, the pilot.
Development and planning.
Item 7, the public shopping district boundaries.
Development and planning.
And item 8, the tenant relocation fee.
Public safety.
Okay, we are to the consent agenda.
Councilmember Hussein.
Yeah, just so very quickly before Councilwoman Carter, moves the consent agenda, I would like to move for the adoption, of the substitute that is before you. This is associated with number 11, so that it can be part of the consent agenda. This came out of Ways and Means. There was a slight discrepancy between the numbers in the resolution at that time and the numbers in the grant form. We since learned, it was actually very quickly after that meeting, that the numbers in the grant form were correct and that the numbers in the resolution would have to be amended to reflect that. So the changes have been made. So with that, and our understanding is these are accurate numbers at this time. So with that, would move for the adoption of the substitute to be part of the consent agenda. Thank you.
Okay, we have a proper motion on the substitute. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Passes unanimously. And now we are on to Vice President Carter.
Yes, I will make the following, move the following consent agenda items. The grant acceptance, Michigan Department of Health and Human Services, training officers, prosecutors, stop violence against women grant. The grant acceptance for the Michigan Police, State Police, Byron Justice Assistant Grant, JAG, the substitute of the grant acceptance for the Michigan Department of Human Services, Domestic Violence Services Capital Area Response Effort, DVS-CARE Grant. We're pulling number 13 and 14 claim appeal 2199 for Megan Broyles for $550 in trash fees at 217 Rita Avenue. The orders to make safe or demolish to the owners of 5210 South Washington Avenue. Orders to make safe and demolish for owners of 6255 Marywood Avenue. And the orders to make safe or demolish to the owners of 509 Baker Street.
Okay, we have a proper motion in place. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Passes unanimously. And then a correction, clerk, on 7 and 8, actually, those are going to go to Cow.
Okay. All right, thank you. So with that, we are to resolutions for action, and we have item 13, claim appeal, claim 2192.
Okay, Councilmember Brown?
Thank you. We have claim appeal 2192, Dale Frater for $1,516 in red tag violation fees at 119 North Seymour Avenue. The individual property owner came to the committee. The property was originally red tagged in October 2014. The property was then purchased in 2022, and as of July 2025, the balance was $1,516. There was quite a bit of damage, including, it looked like some fire damage, and the individual came in and said, you know, he does recognize that based on the current legislative policy that he owes the money. However, he's been making investments into the property and feels that, you know, he wanted to make a comment that, you know, if there's a way to create additional opportunity for people who are investing in their residential properties because it is expensive, that they're not also getting red tag fees when they're showing progress. And with that, move the resolution.
Okay, we have the resolution moved. I would move an amended resolution to grant the appeal for Mr. Schrader. This body made, I think, opened the door for this question, in my opinion, with overturning the demolition of 108 South MLK in the name of historic preservation and in the name of money that had been spent previously on this property. And so when I looked at this and watched the video on this, Mr. Schrader has worked, I think, on several historic homes on his street and redid them at his own cost. I believe he's renovating this current home by himself out of his own cost, along with other historic buildings, the gas station in Old Town he did. So I believe that we should grant the appeal on these red tag violations because in discussing this with him, he has been working on this property. This is his investment, and this money would go a long way for him to be able to finish this project. And this is just another one of the houses that he has worked on that street. And if you haven't had an opportunity to see some of the houses that he has fixed up and maintained, I would suggest that you do. So, Councilmember Spatafor.
Well, to the question, I guess you're making a motion to amend. Is that correct?
Yes,
okay. To that question, did we waive the red tag fees for 108? No, I don't believe. Okay, I just want to make sure. Thank you.
Okay. Is there any further discussion on the Councilmember Brown?
So, to Councilman Spatafor's point, so we did not waive the fees for 108?
Everybody's looking at everybody else. I'm aware of no such resolution where those were waived, but I don't know. The clerk would know. I think
No.
probably
No, they weren't
cleaner
waived,
than I.
but we were informed that at the time that person had invested $50,000 of their own money that they were going to lose if we had
Right,
moved
but that would
forward.
be different from a demolishing versus a red tag fee. So if we're going to bring up MLK, we should do the same with them and give them their red tag fees, because if this is red tag fee to red tag fee versus a demolishing of investment and not a demolishing.
Well, I would be fine with that as well, but I don't speak for this body. I'm simply pointing out that I believe that this person has worked on these houses and put an investment in the same way that the property that we just overturned Make Safe or Demolish on invested in their property. And I think we should be given the same due diligence for Mr. Schrader.
But I think I agree, and I think he does wonderful work, just like Pastor Stan Parker for Eastside Action, when we did not waive their fees.
Correct, but
So,
in my
and they've
opinion, things have
developed-
changed because we overturned a Make Safe or Demolish, so now we are looking at things I look at things through a different lens because we've now set a precedent.
Well, I agree with you. I think that I was supportive of overturning because we shouldn't just be taking people's money when they're making investment. But if I can ask the city attorney, is this apples to apples and oranges to oranges? If we're talking about overturning a make safe or demolish versus a red tag fee, because if we have both properties and they both have red tag fees, if one was not overturned for the red tag fees, wouldn't this be something different than a make safe or demolishment overturnment? That's all I'm asking for is clarification, but I agree with you, President Cost.
And so you're aware, Councilmember Brown, we're currently working towards the end stages of a resolution that does this very thing with
Absolutely.
the city attorney.
Absolutely, I'm aware.
Yeah, okay.
So I'm talking about clarification to make sure we're talking about the same
Sure.
thing.
So there's a question to me. I mean, all I can give you is the legal answer that is consistent with what both of you, I think, have said, which is no, they're not the same thing. One is talking about the reversal of an order to make safe or demolish a property, and this is talking about granting a claim to reverse, I guess, the red tag fees that were previously assessed. So, nope, they're not the same.
Thank you for that clarification.
Councilmember Pelley Vonnegut.
Thank you, President Cost. I'm trying to think of where I want to begin with these comments. I guess, first of all, I would say as to the MLK property, I don't recall having seen or heard of an appeal of those red tag fees for that property. So, you know, there wasn't anything that came before us, you know, prior to this on, you know, pulling back that or, you know, not moving forward with those red tag fees. So in my opinion, and from what I understood, it was a bit different. But I also appreciate some of the comments that are up here this evening because I think after that MSD order was reversed, you know, we did have a lot of comments up here saying maybe we do need to take a closer look at these properties and we do need to take a closer look at the folks who are investing their personal money and how we deal with them moving forward. So I just wanted to say those two comments that I don't believe we had received an appeal of those red tag fees for the MLK property, and that also I think it's great that we're having this conversation to take that closer look and see how we move forward.
Okay, do we have any further discussion on the amended? Councilmember Brown.
Absolutely, I agree with you, Councilman Palivanoglou, as well as what you said, President Cost, but just making sure that we're consistent about, you know, what we're talking about here. And I was not aware either of the red tag, just wanted to make the statement that if we're connecting them, we need to make sure that we are talking about two different things.
Thank you.
As the legislative body.
All right, with no further comments, Councilmember
Yeah,
Hussain.
and just so we're not charged with being arbitrary and capricious, so what we're saying is the basis for the motion is that this individual has, in fact, invested a sizable amount of money, resources into rehabbing. There's obviously a history of that, and that there is some we believe there's some historic value to these homes. Is that what we're?
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
I'm sorry, could you, I couldn't hear the last part.
There was historic value to these homes. These are historical houses. Historic value to the home.
So we have, I'm sorry, I don't understand that statement. So is this this property is deemed as historic?
I'm not sure if it's deemed historic, but it certainly is over 100 years old.
Okay, so you're just saying as far as it being old?
I believe that, yes.
Okay.
The restoration work that has been done on this property, along with, I think, several of the other properties, have restored these houses from what I understand were 4 or 5 unit.
Oh, absolutely. I've seen his properties and been to them. I was just making sure, because we were talking about MLK in a historic district, so I was making sure, are you articulating that this is deemed as a historic district and a historic home, or you're just saying because it's older?
It's the same as 108. There's no historical.
Okay,
There's
thank
no historical designation.
Thank you.
Or historical covenant.
Thank
in the
you,
property.
President, for the clarification.
Okay, so with that, Councilmember Jackson.
Thank you. I just know from being up here that there has been people coming forward about, and maybe not 108 or 1008, 108 and 110 MLK, but there has definitely been people complaining in the past about these red tag fees, and these same people were also investing. But we have this ordinance that I necessarily don't agree with, because I think it does impede people and kind of give them pause to try to even invest in our city and try to even take some of these old properties. As you all know, Lansing's an old city and it's getting older all the time. And our housing stock is old and getting older, and things happen over time. So if we want people to invest and fix them up, we do have to look at the red tag fee ordinance that is kind of relatively new. But at the same time, I don't see what's so different from all the other people who came with this same complaint. I mean, the person's a little different. I'll leave it at that. But, I mean, all these other people came, and they're trying to fix their old houses up, and they're putting their money in, and they're expected to, some of these people can't even do it themselves. They're expected to basically just hire contractors and get it done, and pay the fee, and that's what they've been doing. So I'll just leave that comment there.
Councilmember Jackson, I understand what you're saying. So I would say, and then I'll get to you, Councilmember Brown. I would say two things. One, I think that we are currently in the end stages of actually changing that ordinance.
President, it's your motion. The chair should be the vice president at the moment.
Okay.
President Cost?
All right, thank you. So, one, we have an ordinance that's being worked through right now with the city attorney to the finish line to change how we do those red tags, and so people can get breaks. And I think secondly, while Councilmember Brown is right and the city attorney is right, obviously comparing these two things were totally different, but I'd like to point out we never overturned make safe or demolish before, and then we did. And so what I'm asking here, with legislation on the way to correct, I think what is an overstep on red tags, I'm saying that we do the same thing, which is we step out and we do something we've never done before with these red tag fees until the ordinance can be put into place if this council so chooses.
Thank you. Councilman Brown?
Thank you. I think with what Councilman Jackson said makes sense as well. And so as we've said across this body, even with Eastside Action, I think we should be consistent. And then when it changes, then we're able to make those changes accordingly. I think with the MLK overturned, there was circumstances and information that was brought, not only the money, we're here, I mean, even Mr. Schrader said, well, I owe the money, but we should look at changing this in the future. Thank you.
All right, President Cost, you had a motion on the table for the support, or was it? For the amendment for this claim appeal of 2192 Dale Schrader for 1516 in red tag violation fees at 1119 North Seymour Avenue. All right, so, no, on the amendment. Yep, so we're gonna,
I just am a little confused. So what's a yes and what's a no at this point?
A yes vote would be to amend the resolution and grant the claim. And then if it's amended, you have to vote on the amended resolution. If it's not, you have to vote on the original resolution.
so this resolution is, this first motion is to amend the
To Vice President Carter.
Vice President Carter is guiding the discussion on the president's motion because it was his motion and he can't preside over that.
Okay, thank you. So the first motion never went, or the claim is, so we're only on the amendment first. Okay, thank you.
So we have a proper motion. Any further discussion? All right. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Nay.
So that looks like it passes with.
We need a roll.
Oh, it fails, excuse me, it fails.
Okay.
Reverse that, fails. So now, we can vote on the regular amendment or claim appeal.
So can I motion that, or?
You already did.
Oh, okay.
So, on the original denial. Can we get a roll call vote, Mr. Clerk?
Certainly. On the resolution as reported from committee, Councilmember Cost.
No.
Councilmember Pelivanoglou.
No.
Councilmember Spatafor. Councilmember Brown.
Yes.
Councilmember Carter.
Yeah.
Councilmember Garza.
Yes.
Councilmember Hussein.
No.
Councilmember Jackson. 5 yeas, 3 nays, the resolution is adopted. And that takes us to resolution number 18, make safe or demolish for 810 Beulah.
Okay, we've got Councilmember Pelivanoglou.
All right, we continue to talk about the make safe or demolish process with the next number, item 18. 810 Beulah Street. This property was originally red tagged on October 28th of 2022. There was a Lansing demolition hearing officer who heard this case on July 31st of 2025. And at that time, it was ordered that the property be made safe by September 29th of 2025. To date, the Code Compliance Office has determined that compliance with the demolition hearing officer has not occurred. And for additional context, the state equalized value of this property that is fire damaged is $18,700. The estimated cost of repairs is $81,642. I would move the resolution that sets the show cause hearing on this property for Monday, December 15th, 2025 at 7 p.m.
Okay, any further discussion on the show cause hearing date? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Passes unanimously.
Okay, item 19, orders to make safe or demolish for 906 Prospect Street.
That is Councilmember Pelivanoglou yet.
All right, thank you. 906 Prospect Street. This location was originally red tagged on August 2nd of 2024. The Lansing demolition hearing officer heard this case on July 31st of 2025 and ordered that the building be made safe by September 2nd of 2025. There was a public show cause hearing on November 10th of this year, 2025. It is a determination of the Code Enforcement Office that compliance with the order has not been made. And so I do want to, again, add some additional context for this one. We did have a public comment by Mr. Diller earlier this evening. This property is in the foreclosure process. Some information on the property: the state equalized value is $59,000. The estimated cost of repairs is $144,961. We did last discuss this property at the committee level on November 25th. The recommendation from the code office at that time was to move a 30-day make safe or demolish. Extra time was asked for at the committee hearing, and we did move forward with a 60-day make safe or demolish order. With that, I would move the resolution for the 60 days make safe or demolish.
Okay, do we have any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Passes unanimously.
Okay, we're to item 20, SLU 1, 2025.
Councilmember Garza.
All right, thank you, Council President. So this is special land use permit at 3011 Turner Street to authorize a state licensed adult foster care small group home. The applicant, Esther Mwakenja, hopefully I'm pronouncing that right, is seeking approval to operate a state licensed adult foster care small group home with a maximum of 12 residents in the existing building. A full review was completed by the city staff, looking at neighborhood character, public services, zoning, parking, and overall the design. The review was found that the proposed use fits within the current zoning requirements, can be properly served by utilities, and represents an appropriate improvement to the property. The Planning Commission held a public hearing on September 2nd, 2025, where the applicant spoke and no objections were received. The commission voted unanimously 6-0 for approval. City Council held its public hearing on November 17th. Overall, this proposed group home is expected to fit the character of the area, not interfere with the neighboring properties, not create hazards, and not place any strain on city services. It meets the dimensional and zoning standard of this district and is consistent with our city's comprehensive plan. With that, I would move the resolution.
Okay, proper motion in place. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, passes unanimously.
Okay, item 21 is Act 5, 2025.
Councilmember Garza again.
All right, thank you, Council President. So this is the acquisition of property at the 600 block of West Fairfield Avenue for incorporation into Jones Lake Park. The property is approximately 31,624 square feet, and it's currently vacant wetland. Glenn and Elaine Secor have offered to sell the parcel to the city of Lansing for $1, and they will also be paying the closing costs. The city intends to combine this property with Jones Lake Park, expanding the park to approximately 3.4 acres and preserving additional green space for the community. The Planning Commission reviewed the proposal on November 5th, voted unanimously 7-0 to recommend approval. Development and Planning Committee then reviewed the recommendation at its meeting on November 25th and agreed to move the resolution forward as well. So with that, I would move the resolution.
Okay, we have a proper motion in place. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, passes unanimously.
Okay, item 22 is Act 6 of 2025.
Councilmember Garza.
Okay, thank you, Council President. One last one. Here we go. This is the 5400 block of South Waverly Road to extend the South Lansing pathway. It's a purchase of property. Tonight we're considering approval to purchase about 35.2 acres of vacant woodland located at 0 South Waverly Road from the Lansing Christian Center Church. This land will support continued growth of our park system and the river trail, especially expansion of the south side pathway. The property was appraised on May 14th, 2025 at $450,000, which is the not to exceed purchase price being requested, plus closing costs. The city plans to use State of Michigan Natural Resources Trust Fund grant dollars alongside a 26% local match of $117,000 from the Parks and Recreation Department. The Planning Commission unanimously approved the purchase 7-0 on November 5th. Following that, the Development and Planning Committee reviewed and concurred with the recommendation on December 2nd, 2025. And with that, I would move the resolution.
Okay, we have a proper motion in place. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, passes unanimously.
Item 23 is sewage system revenue bonds.
Councilmember Hussein.
Thank you. We had Nicole McPherson in she's a city engineer, with Public Services, and she was into our Ways and Means meeting on December 3rd. Did a great job underscoring kind of the necessity of, continued necessity of preventing overflow into our local waterways. And as folks know, historically, we have had combined sewers, pipes that carry essentially sanitary and stormwater to the treatment center to be treated before being discharged out into the waterways. The problem is that when we have substantial wet weather that kind of overloads the system, sometimes you get some untreated sewage water into area waterways. So we are continuing with the design and construction of a sewer separation project detailed in a 2019 administrative consent order issued by the State of Michigan's Environmental, Great Lakes, and Energy Department. So the resolution before you deals with SRF bonds, authorizes essentially the issuance of sewage disposal system revenue bonds for the SRF 2026 improvements of the Tecumseh River Road Pump Station Replacement Project and the sewer separation project on Cherry Street, Kalamazoo Street, and Pine Street. Project is part of the city's 2024 to 2028 SRF project plan that was submitted to and approved by Eagle back in 2023. Loan amount in the resolution for this project is estimated not to exceed $40 million. Loan will be paid back over 30 years. And the SRF loans are low-interest loans, typically under 2%. The SRF eligible portion of this project is approximately $30 million. Eagle has indicated this project to receive $2.8 million of principal of forgiveness on the loan. And the Lansing Board of Water and Light participates in the downtown separation project and is responsible for approximately $2.5 million of the total construction project cost. Remaining amount is funded from the city's local street, major street, sanitary, and general funds. So with that being said, I would move forward. I would move the motion, or move the resolution, sorry.
Okay, do we have any further discussion on this? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, passes unanimously.
And item 24 is in support of a series of Michigan Senate bills.
Councilmember Pelli-Vonaglu.
Thank you, President Cost. Item 24 is a resolution on behalf of City Council in support of Michigan Senate bills 508, 509, and 510 to address issues related to immigration enforcement and clearly identifiable police operations. A bit of background, this package of bills was introduced to the Michigan Senate in August of this year and referred to the Committee on Civil Rights, Judiciary, and Public Safety. A public hearing was held on November 6th where stakeholders and residents were able to give their public opinions. And just a brief synopsis of what these bills include. Senate Bill 508 would prohibit immigration enforcement actions in certain sensitive locations without a court order or an imminent danger to public safety. Senate Bill 509 would prohibit a government entity from providing an individual's identifying information without a court-issued warrant under certain circumstances. And Senate Bill 510 would prohibit a law enforcement officer from wearing a mask or personal disguise while interacting with a member of the public in performance of the officer's duties except under specified circumstances, and further requires appropriate uniforms be worn during police operations. Also noted in this resolution is that Lansing Police Department's policies and procedures already contain many of these requirements in the way we operate locally, above and beyond what is currently required by state law. It also asks that the Lansing City Clerk send copies of this resolution to the Lansing delegations of both the Michigan State House and Senate, as well as Governor Gretchen Whitmer's office. And with that, I would move the resolution.
Okay, do we have any further discussion on this? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Oppose? Passes unanimously.
Okay, we are to introduction of ordinances and setting of public hearings. We have an ordinance of the City of Lansing, Michigan, providing for the rezoning of a parcel of real property located in the City of Lansing, Michigan, and for the revision of the district maps adopted by Section 1242.02 of the Code of Ordinances. Property located at Z1 2025 3310 West Mount Hope Road, rezoning from R1 residential to MFR multifamily residential. The ordinance is read a first time by its title and referred to the Committee on Development and Planning.
Councilmember Garza.
All right, thank you, Council President. So tonight, we are setting a public hearing for a rezoning request at 3310 West Mount Hope Road. The applicant is asking to rezone the property from R1 single-family residential to MFR multifamily residential, which would allow more housing units on the site than what is currently permitted. The Lansing Planning Commission has recommended approval. Development and Planning Committee reviewed the request on December 2nd and referred it to full council tonight. The public hearing is scheduled for Monday, January 12th at 7 p.m. here at City Hall. Their team will also be on hand to present and answer any questions, giving neighbors and residents opportunity to weigh in before any final vote has taken. And with that, I would move to set the public hearing.
Okay, we have a proper motion in place. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Oppose? Passes unanimously.
Okay, we have an ordinance of the City of Lansing, Michigan, providing for the rezoning of a parcel of real property located in the City of Lansing, Michigan, and for the revision of the district maps adopted by Section 1246.02 of the Code of Ordinances. Property located at Z3 2025 117 Island Avenue, rezoning from R3 residential to MXC mixed-use urban corridor. The ordinance is read a first time by its title and refer to the Committee on Development and Planning.
Councilmember Garza.
All right, thank you, Council President. So you heard the clerk. Tonight, we're setting a public hearing regarding the rezoning request at the property at 117 Island Avenue. The proposal would change the zoning from R3 residential to MXC mixed-use urban corridor. This public hearing will take place on Monday, January 12th, 7 p.m. here at City Hall. Their team will be on hand to present and answer questions, giving neighbors and residents opportunity to weigh in before any actions taken. And with that, I would move to set the public hearing.
Okay, proper motion in place. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Oppose? Passes unanimously.
We are to ordinances for passage. We have an ordinance of the City of Lansing, Michigan to amend Chapter 294 of the Lansing Codified Ordinances, Section 294.02 sub K, to encourage the retention of the top official of the Fire Department and Police Department by extending eligibility for retirement service credits for those officials up to 30 years and to correct internal cross-references without any substantive revisions. Is read a second time by its title. The ordinance was reported from the Committee of the Whole and is on the order of immediate passage.
Vice President Carter.
Yes, thank you, Clerk Swope. You've summed that up with the addition of, if a member of the retirement system who is currently employed by the city is promoted to the top official of either the fire department or police department, then the member's credited service may exceed 25 years, but not more than the 30 years, except that the retirement allowance shall not exceed 110% of the member's base wage.
Okay, any further discussion? Seeing none, Mr. Clerk, could you please do a roll call vote?
Okay, on passage of the ordinance, Councilmember Pelley Vonnegut.
Yes.
Councilmember Spatafor.
Yes.
Councilmember Brown.
Yes.
Councilmember Carter.
Yes.
Councilmember Garza. Yes. Councilmember Hussein.
Yes.
Councilmember Jackson. Councilmember Cost.
Yes.
8 yeas, 0 nays, the ordinance is adopted. Is there a need for immediate effect?
Okay, Councilmember Garza makes a motion for immediate effect. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Passes unanimously.
Okay, with that, we are to speaker registration for public comment on city government-related matters. That's the yellow sign-in sheet in the back. If you wish to address city council for up to 3 minutes, please get with Sahand in the back in the next minute and fill out a yellow form if you have not already done so. And with that, we are to reports of city officers, boards, and commissions.
Vice President Carter?
Yes, I'll motion that all items be considered as being read in full and that the proper referrals be made by President Cost.
Okay, proper motion in place. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Passes unanimously.
Okay, we have from the city clerk minutes of boards and commissions.
Place on file.
Buy-sell agreement for 229 Cedar Street.
Committee of the Whole.
Nonprofit recognition, Stoop Fest, Inc.
Committee of the Whole.
Board of Water and Light annual audit for fiscal year ending June 30, 2025.
Committee of the Whole.
From the mayor, we have the appointment of Melissa White to the South Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard Corridor Improvement Authority,
That'll be Development and Planning.
and the appointment of Jeffrey Hank as a business representative member of the Michigan Avenue Corridor Improvement Authority.
Development and Planning.
The appointment of Shayanar Manwar as a City of Lansing member of the Local Development Finance Authority Board.
Development and Planning.
Reappointment of Dr. Thomas Woods to the Human Relations and Community Services Advisory Board.
Cow.
Social District, RBM Properties LLC, DBA Graywall Hall.
Cow.
Objecting to the transfer of all unsold tax reverted properties from the Ingham County Treasurer.
Development and Planning.
Grant acceptance, COPS micro grant, Safer Lansing from the Department of Justice.
Cow.
Sole source purchase, 2 of them, one for Police Department notification of bear training as the vendor for KBT insert training doors, and one for Parks and Recreation Department notification of Limnotech as the vendor for the Great Bubble Barrier.
Ways and Means.
Communications and petitions, notice from the Liquor Control Commission, Sital Carr at 533 South Chestnut, a request to transfer an escrowed STD license from location in Meridian Township.
Place on file.
Communication from Marisol Erickson in regards to Mod Pods.
Place on file.
And communication from Denise Backlund regarding Mod Pods.
Place on file.
And we are to remarks by council members.
Any further remarks by council members? Moving right along.
Remarks by the mayor.
Mr. Shore? Okay.
Then we are to public comment. First, Joseph Helder, followed by Nathan Wood.
Hello and thank you, Council. My name is Joseph Helder, homeowner on the South Side. I'm here to respectfully advocate for a pause on the Nova Housing Initiative Mod Pod project in order for more direct community involvement to take place. The 5 proposed locations of the Mod Pod site has put the community at odds with each other and the Mod Pod project as a whole. The process of potential site selection has been too quick and taken the community by surprise. It is too ambitious of a project to be started off on the wrong foot like this, as it requires community support in order to be successful. Thank you. I yield the remainder of my time.
Thank you. Next is Nathan Wood, followed by Ivan Drosty. Is Nathan Wood here? Okay, Ivan Drosty, followed by Ted Wilson.
Ivan Drosty, Ward 3. I just want to talk a little bit about the data center. Councilman Cost, I really appreciate you hosting that meeting this past weekend. I think that was really informative for everybody. To no surprise, I think the residents of Lansing showed up with some really impressive questions. Everyone there seemed to really have done their homework. And they asked some, I thought, really insightful questions that the representative from Deep Green really seemed not to have many answers for. I'd like to refer you to a resolution that I'm sure you're probably all aware of, but in case you're not, a couple of subcommittees of the Ingham County Board of Commissioners have recently signed on to a resolution, those being the Environmental Affairs Committee and the Human Resources Committee. The resolution, among other things, urges this body to adopt a regulatory framework for data centers in the city of Lansing, under the assumption that this Deep Green project will not be the last proposal that we receive. And I completely agree with them on that. What I think first is that we need a moratorium on data center construction projects to give us some time to get out in front of this and to put this regulatory framework together. I think that we need ordinances on the book for location. The resolution urges you to adopt an ordinance regarding the location of these data centers vis-a-vis the proximity of them to housing and public transit stops, things of that nature. Also, noise level, water use, water pollution. I would go further. I would say that there should be additional ordinances for the types of clients that data centers should be able to do business with, particularly in these data centers. I would also like ordinances that restrict what can be done as far as use case with the compute time at the data center. Specifically, I don't think that we should be allowing data centers in Lansing that are used for so-called AI. And lastly, I think that we should be working on a CBA, community benefits agreement, that any data center developer needs to sign on to before we even play ball with them. And quite frankly, if they're not ready and willing to do that, I don't think we should even give them the time of day. So I hope that we can get out in front of this, and I think that if we do have a regulatory framework in place, people are going to be a lot more willing to accept projects like these going forward. Thank you.
Thank you. Next is Ted Wilson, followed by Ariana Brown.
Thank you, Mayor Shore and Lansing City Council. I'm sorry for my kid here. I am here to present a letter of opposition of current Nova Housing Initiative site selection to protect our city parks. This past Sunday, a coalition of residents representing multiple neighborhoods came together to discuss their opposition to choosing one of the 5 sites that have been recommended to the city. To the city regarding the.
You're good. We trade kids for puppies around here.
At any rate, the coalition came together to discuss their opposition to the installation of these Mod Pods in one of our parks, or the seeming red herring of pushing the installation at the El Shabazz site without the neighborhood's approval. We are not in opposition of the Mod Pods being installed. In fact, there is unanimous approval of having the Mod Pods in the city. There is, however, unanimous opposition to installing the Mod Pods in one of the 5 sites as the site selection has been processed thus far. In this letter we have given to all of you, our demands are that the program is paused so that the mayor and the city council can come up with a more adequate process to involve the community. for the approval process to place the Mod Pods in a location that has the full community support so that we can ensure that this program is successful, because this is a program that we desperately need. And we would like to see this done without delay because of the needs of the community that this is trying to serve, because as some of the members that mentioned at our meeting, every day we go without housing these people is another day for another person to die. And we would like to see the attention brought to this as soon as possible. Thank you so much.
Why broke it? What you fix it?
Thank you. Next is Ariana Brown, followed by Nadia Sellers. Thank you.
All right. Hey, guys. That was a tough one to follow. Okay, so I'm going to keep it short and sweet. I don't know if you guys watch the news, but we're in something known as a financial crisis. So I would just like to encourage you guys to reach out to the people who were in your shoes during the 2008 financial crisis. All right, so give them a call, shoot them an email, take them out to lunch, like have the conversation of like, okay, what do you really regret? What would you do differently? Like, what is your advice going into this? Because people are scared right now. You know, there's a lot of uncertainty. And the more that you can say, well, you know, I've done my homework, like I've thought about this, I'm taking this seriously, like the more confidence that you're going to be able to bring to bring to the table coming forward. Okay, so yeah, so obviously we're in a financial crisis. People are talking about the Mod Pods. With homelessness, I want you guys to also consider an eviction moratorium, specifically on vehicle and trailer camping on private property. So what this is going to do is specifically allow for churches and nonprofits to open up a safe parking lot. This doesn't cost the city any money. This doesn't change any laws. You're just putting a pause on this to like do some harm reduction, okay? So it's winter, we can't build, we can't pour concrete right now, but we can like wheel in a trailer, get somebody out of a tent, and give them like a chance to survive this winter. So just something to consider, eviction moratorium on vehicle and trailer camping. And thank you for your time.
Thank you. Next, we have Nadia Sellers, followed by Carver.
Thank you, Council, for having me. I am the president of the Honey Bear Project. We are a nonprofit based on getting justice for our citizens. This lady here is 72 years old. You guys up there should be ashamed of yourself. You have code compliance out here doing drive-bys of her property, but yet charging her every month. The sad part is she went through a fire in her business in 2023. The next day, the fire department, or the same day, had code compliance out there. Within 30 days, she got citations and letters on how to remedy the situation, but there was no instructions on what to do. Adam, she's in your district. One size does not fit all. You guys shouldn't be up there taking people's homes. You should be encouraging homeowners to, and working with them to fix their properties. Does she look like she knows anything about a building code? No, she does not. You should have some type of system or office to help senior citizens whose property gets red tagged understand what they need to do to have a remedy. But when she called code compliance, they were very, very rude to her. I was on the phone. When she asked about the city ordinance, they told her to Google it. Really? And then when she asked the question about her, apparently they're supposed to give her some type of report, they said, we'll mail it. They've yet to mail it. Then we called back and we asked about the ordinance. She says, oh, I don't know about that. I'll find out and email you a copy. I got the copy from your assistant, what's your name? Ms. Carter? I got it from her. She is 72 years old. She put her life and soul into her business. You guys up there are passing these ordinances and tearing down people's homes. These are residents, they're citizens, they're taxpayers. They're very taxpayers that pays the salary of your code compliance office. So I'm going to ask you to look at her, remember her, work with her. When she got a call to work with the city attorney, lo and behold, there were 3 attorneys on the call. That's a bully tactic to me. You're not doing her any favors. Taking people's home, work with them, especially if they're senior citizens. If you don't have a department right now for senior citizens to get assistance, you should try to get one. because this woman will be taken advantage of by every builder who knows the codes, who knows what needs to do, and they won't share that information with her. They'll just run up the charges on her. Mr. Mayor, I like you, but right now I am just not fond of what you guys are doing. President Cost, if you want decorum in your room, keep it equal. And please don't ever, ever compare LGBTQ with Juneteenth or with slavery, because what we've gone through is more than 50 years. So I'm asking you again, Adam, Miss Washington, reach out to her and help her. Because if you don't, my organization will, and everybody up here is now being put on notice.
Thank you. Next is Carver, followed by Michael Mercer.
All right, I'm going to try to be a little calmer than last time, even though we have a murderer for mayor. But I'm here mostly about homeless issues, but ICE was mentioned. And it's not only that we need transparency in their issues. This is a sanctuary city. They do not belong here at all. Okay, so... Hoy. As for the Mod Pods, safety and stability are essential for people to get back on track to fix their lives. And that includes for addiction recovery, and restricting who's allowed into those Mod Pods will prevent any success of recovery and reintegration into society. You gotta stop talking about how to keep people out. You're trying to help people. I assume everyone here, especially everyone in the line in front of me now, lives comfortably in an actual house. Y'all can wake up in a warm bed, presumably next to your spouse, take hot showers, brew a nice single origin coffee before going about your day, fix eggs for breakfast, jobs that pay your bills, able to stay with your partners, unlike any of your neighbors stuck in segregated shelters, which is one of many reasons plenty of us aren't allowed into those shelters. You can come home and watch a movie with family and friends. You can do so without worrying about where your next meal is coming from, that your utilities may or may not be cut, and the police would threaten to arrest you and separate you from your belongings, which, when you're homeless, your belongings are your ability to survive. So tonight when you go home, please take a moment to reflect. Challenge yourselves to simply sit outside your front door for maybe 20 minutes. See if you can even last that long. I'm only asking 20 minutes because it took me 30 minutes last Monday before my joints started locking up. And it pained me for days afterward. And I don't want anyone, not even y'all, except maybe you, to get to that point, even though it would demonstrate how damaging cold injury is on a level I doubt any of you have ever truly experienced. Imagine you have no home, no money, maybe crippling debt, and nowhere to go. Imagine you don't know anyone who can help, you can't afford a hotel, your car has no gas, shelters and warming centers are full. Imagine you have no choice but to stay outside with nothing but the clothes on your back and what's in your pockets, and you have no way to get anyone else at that moment, especially not at this hour. Just imagine that for 15, 20 minutes tonight. Imagine you have no phone, no driver's license, nobody coming to help you, and that police here will arrest you if you try to lie down anywhere. How do you think you're going to stay warm? How do you think you're going to sleep tonight? That's it. That's all I got to say. Except screw you.
Thank you. Next is Michael Mercer, followed by Darren.
Sir, with the sunglasses on? Okay, can you please refrain from... Okay. And we're trying to give everybody respect up here at the podium, so if you could please not interrupt, and if you'd like to have a conversation, you can go in the hallway. Okay, thank you.
I am not for those Mod Pods going in any of these here Lansing parks, W. Stabenow, Comstock, Hunters, and Reasoner Parks, and Shabazz Academy. They are an eyesore, and those parks will end up turning into an eyesore. If you see those pictures that I had given you all earlier today, there's 2 of them. You see those tents, you see those grocery carts, you see that mattress from somewhere, and now it's got bags of trash. It's got so much trash over there. That's over there near the Social Security on the south side, off from Jolly. And then if you look behind the Kmart store, there's a bunch more tents and trash back there, and that's terrible back there. And I don't like seeing parks with all that type of shit thrown all over the place. And those people need to go someplace where I would say in a school, and yes, you waste all that money buying those Mod Pods, probably put them in a school in some building that you can, purchase and do some remodeling. Sure, it's going to need some remodeling. I remember they had to do remodeling here years ago. I remember Tim Kaltenbach, the rain we had, it started dripping on him, and they need to fix these buildings and put those Mod Pods. You're not going to get your money back for them. You might as well save them and use them. And I was told by somebody down there on the south side when I went to the Social Security office that day, when I saw them, I went over there, and people tell me stuff is disappearing that they have out there. And with the Mod Pods, at least they'll have all that stuff of theirs kept in there, and it won't disappear behind their back. And like over there on MLK, you got that Jack Dykstra Ford that used to be there years ago. Look at that, a storage unit. You can purchase a building and turn it into something like that. It's just like the Art Van Furniture store there on South Penn that used to be there years ago. You got Kmart that used to be there on the south side on Cedar, which is now a U-Haul storage unit. And then you got that Days Inn farther down there in Pennsylvania that is behind, Aldi's and Bell Tire. And they do have storage units outside. You can rent inside or outside. I'd rather they be inside. At least they'll be warm in this time of year, and I'm sure, too, it would have AC during the summertime. But outside, no. I'd rather they be inside and put it in some building that you can, purchase or remodel and get them out of this cold weather.
Thank you. Next is Darren, followed by Juanito Webb.
Hi, Darren, First Ward. Regarding the Mod Pods, I have heard a number of complaints about the potential for drug use in the areas where the pods are. I would like to remind you that homeless people exist everywhere in Lansing, and this includes drug use. Whatever your reasons, denying addicts services fails the goal of assisting people in rebuilding their lives. We are experiencing housing crisis right now. Advocates are fighting a battle to help our neighbors receive housing resources and to end the criminalization of homelessness. Our neighbors, our unhoused neighbors, do not need another battle. I was partially raised by Jim Ballmer, the longtime president of Dawn Farm. He is one of the most significant recovery support specialists in Michigan. I grew up understanding that substance use disorder is a health condition, not criminal behavior. When someone is in pain for so long that this is the only thing that they can do to survive, it is unsustainable to expect them to be in recovery before assisting them. They need stability first. In addition to having many family members, friends, former partners, and support persons who are current or former addicts, I'm also part of a harm reduction organization, and it would be cool if you were to support us a little bit more. What might be an ambiguous concept to some are names and faces that I know. Quite a few local unhoused, including those in active use, have eaten at my table and showered in my house. The families and friends of the addicts the family and friends of addicts hear you when you say that you want our loved ones to die in the street. My elder brother has been pronounced dead over a dozen times. Not only that, but my younger brother, who looks exactly like me, he wasn't an addict, but there was one day where he was very drunk and he walked into an Amtrak. I had to watch internet comments talking about how that was just one less crack addict and 3,000 points for Amtrak. I heard that, and that is what we all hear every time that you say that you do not want to provide services for our families and our friends. So let's make sure that these pods are successful the first time and provide resources to those in most need without any restrictions. As an aside, can we make the cata stops a little bit more accessible to people this winter? Because I got off of a bus stop last Wednesday, and the bus let me out into a mound of snow. I was walking on my cane that day. I couldn't stabilize myself on my legs. The stop before me, there was a woman on a walker, and she couldn't even make it to the bus stop. This was a week after it had snowed. Thank you.
Thank you. And our final speaker is Juanito Webb.
Hello, City Council members. Thank you for having me. I appreciate your time. I hope you appreciate mine. I had a saying a while ago. A city is only as good as it treats its people, and the people only as good as it treats its city. So, the Mod Pod thing, man, it's a good idea. You just got to find a decent location. And I understand about the parks and whatnot, but they're not a freaking eyesore. They're here to keep us warm and alive. None of you have never probably been as homeless as I have, and I'm not bragging on it, but I'm not ashamed of it either. It doesn't mean I'm a loser, okay? I don't like cilantro and skinny pants, and I'll take an e-bike and maybe leave it at that, okay? That's just my opinion on stuff, man. But I've been sleeping out on this cold stuff, and I just want to say thank you to the organizations that actually care. The people that actually care are the real celebrities, are the real rock stars, like Crystal Rays, Advent House, Punks with Lunch. Rent is too damn high because it is. We can all agree on that, man. We need to cut out that unnecessary foreskin, man. It's just too much, man. This ain't New York or LA. And I'm going to recommend, too, that we get a storage bin, a trash bin, since you want to whine about your little dirty pennies, and give us a free storage bin. If what's good for LA, if we're called the United States of America, it's good for Lansing then. Because I'm not some nobody. I'm not a nobody at all. I'm a somebody in God's eyes, in my own eyes, and my real friends and family here right now. Thank you. So moving on, I think the Mod Pod thing is a great idea, and I think you should get more. And I think you should lower the property tax, the business tax, and the rent in half for whatever area you put the Mod Pods at. How about that? Is that a good idea? Hell yeah. I'd have to go to college to use a little bit of heart and brain that God has given me. Read Ecclesiastes and Proverbs. Great stuff. Tap into it. It's just simple, down-to-earth knowledge, whatever it is you believe in. Okay? And one last thing. And Christ forgive me, I'm not trying to give this dude a bad name, but I'm not new to Lansing. I used to come out here in the 80s and early 90s before a very well-respected and well-known guy named Brother John at the New Testament Church. And that's one of the only reasons why I'm even up here sometimes, man, because that old crew plays a little banjo and whatnot. Now, if nobody knows who he is, do your research, because he's done this city a lot of good, and he gave this city a good name. And that's my godfather. How's about that one? Yeah. I'm liking this. This is fun. So anyways, yeah. Another thing, too, just because I don't have a home, I should not be looked down on. I don't look at any of you having a house, whether it's, rich, poor, whatever. You have a home. I don't have a home. And there's other people out there that are very nice. Some of them don't even swear that don't have a home. So look into it. Use the brain and heart that God has given you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Connie Webb. Thank you.
That was our final speaker.
We are adjourned at 9:08.